This is Eagle Owl, and today I'll be talking about Jalen Hurts. As CJ Stroud said, he's not top five. Also, we got to talk about this article that's out there saying Howie Roseman's on the clock. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter might be a bust, but let's get straight into it. All right, so let's get straight into it. Let's talk about CJ Stroud. He said Jalen Hurts is not top five, and let's listen to his list of top five guys.
Oh, no, I'm tripping. Let me go. I'm going.
Tripping?
So, look, final five. I know what I'm doing, dog. Mahomes, Lamar, myself, Dak.
Joey B.
No, he didn't really play last year. And then Hurts.
Dak?
Yeah, bro.
Dak?
Dak, that boy. Y'all not going to say that because he ain't won the big one yet.
You said Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, Matthew, but he was
thing.
top five last year.
Cowboys thing.
Bro, you gonna put Dak Prescott in there over Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I got.
I'm saying off of last year, dog. He ain't play all year. He got hurt.
Well, we can
Burrow
find somebody.
Burrow, one of my favorite players. I'm out of my game after Burrow a little bit. Like,
Why
me
you
and
don't
Burrow
fuck
got
with
similar
that?
playing styles.
Cowboys.
Oh,
Bro,
Eagles
Dak
and
is that
Cowboys,
dude,
they don't
bro.
like each
What?
other like that? I ain't know all that.
What?
I ain't see. I don't be knowing all that.
Dak tough, bro.
I'm
Dak
just-
is one of the most accurate quarterbacks
Y'all got to
in
see them
the
this year,
world.
don't y'all?
Yeah, we playing
Oh, my God. The battle of
Sunday.
Texas.
You gonna take care
Monday
of that for
night
me? Yeah, take
Where y'all
care of
playing
that for
at?
me, man.
in Dallas.
All right, as you heard that list, you heard him say Jalen Hurts, but I guess he took a look back at the podcast and he said he forgot to put Josh Allen. So this is his actual top five. So he got Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, himself, Josh Allen, and Dak Prescott. Look, my answer is going to surprise you, but if you're basing it off of last year, I got to agree with CJ Stroud. I have to agree with him. Jalen Hurts, towards the end of the season, did not look that great. I know there was stuff floating around when we were winning that when we was behind 10 plus points, Jalen Hurts was coming back and breaking records. But I gotta count in what happened towards the end of the season. And it wasn't that good. It wasn't pretty. Yes, me as an Eagles fan that watched the Eagles every single day, yes, it was coaching. Don't get me wrong, it was coaching. A lot of people say it's the turnovers, but if you go over the turnover worthy plays, Jalen Hurts has one of the few least turnover worthy plays. So a lot of the turnovers were technically not his fault. It was like bad drops, bad route ran, confusion of what the play was called. It was a lot of that stuff. I mean, it's still on Jalen Hurts' record. And again, on paper, he did not play the best. So again, basing it off of last year, I'm cool with that. The only problem I have with these top five lists, top 10 lists, is how fast guys are ready to shoot up Jordan Love and CJ Stroud himself. Because I could say CJ Stroud had one good rookie year. There was really no tape on him. Let's see what he do the following year. Jordan Love had a half a season, even though he didn't mention Jordan Love, but a lot of people got Jordan Love in that top 10, top 5-ish. I'm like, he was good towards the end of the season. Let's see if that could carry over to the next season. But if you just strictly base it off of last year, I somewhat agree with the list. Yes, even putting Dak Prescott top five. Dak Prescott's a choke artist in the playoffs. Yes. He's like bottom 20 if we mention in the playoffs. But regular season, he know how to dominate an opponent. So I got to give Dak Prescott that. Yes, Dak Prescott can't win the big games, this and that. But last season, regular season, yes, Dak Prescott is in that top 5-ish conversation based off the numbers. So I'm not mad at CJ Stroud. I know my answer might surprise y'all a little bit because y'all consider me a Jalen Hurts homer, but at the same time, I'm realistic. Jalen Hurts statistically did not have the best season. I don't think his numbers were far off from 2022, 2023. I'm just being honest. But the turnovers was the big difference. Yeah, hopefully Jalen Hurts can fix that, prove a lot of people wrong. And it's up to Jalen Hurts. It's really up to Jalen Hurts. Howie Roseman did his job. He got Saquon Barkley. He made sure he paid your top receivers. You still got Dallas Goedert there. The line is there. Howie Roseman couldn't do nothing about Jason Kelsey. It was just time for Jason Kelsey to retire. We all knew this day was coming, but Howie Roseman definitely did his job to add the pieces to help Jalen Hurts. So now it's really up to Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni what they're going to do with the offense so my guy can stop being disrespected. I'm just saying. All right, so speaking of Howie Roseman, let's keep the topic on him. And I think the remaining topic will be about Howie Roseman. So Marcus Hayes, I believe, is probably one of the, biggest weirdos as far as reporters. I honestly think he's a weirdo because I think he's a Cowboys fan or something. Like anytime he come out with an article, it's somewhat to destroy the Eagles. Like let's look at the headlines he tweeted. Yes, this is an actual reporter from the Eagles. He wrote an article and he want people to click on it and read it. So he said, Howie Roseman scrap Reddit for Huff. Now, I do agree with that first line. That is a risk. But at the same time, you got to think with Howie Roseman thinking Huff is younger, should have a more of an upside. Reddit gets older, so it's only going to decline from here. So we'll see about that, how that work out. But I'm not mad at getting Huff for cheaper. And they played a similar game. And I think Huff will fit Vic Fangio defense a lot better than Reddick, in my opinion. Now, this is where it gets a little spooky, right? He said he has 2 first-round defensive tackles who might be a bust after missing on Dillard and Rager. Bro, he compared Jordan Davis, who I'm not even the biggest fan of, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter to Andre Dillard and Jalen Rager. He compared those two to Andre Dillard and Jalen Rager. Are you serious? Jalen Carter, who was up for Defensive Rookie of the Year, might be a bust? Seriously? Now, I believe Jordan Davis can play ball. To me, can Jordan Davis last the full season? But I don't think he's a bust. I don't think Jordan Davis is a bust at all. What is this dude talking about? I can't. It's hard for me to go into statistics, really, because it sounds like a troll job. But this is an actual reporter from Philadelphia. This makes absolutely no sense. I know some of us are not the biggest fan of Jordan Davis. A lot of us agree with Jalen Carter being, that top tier guy. But to put them in that conversation with Jalen Rager and Andre Dillard, it's weird. It's weird. They don't belong in the same sentence. But let's go over more headlines, man. And look, he threw assets at the defensive back spot, but what's the but ... Yes, the defensive back spot was weak. You go add assets. You go get Isaiah Rodgers while you can. You got him on the cheap deal, who might be still a top tier DB in this league. You go get Keely Ringo out the draft. You go get Quinyon Mitchell. You go get Cooper DeJean. You're trying to get younger. You're addressing the spot to get younger. What is the but ... We're talking about guys that can play. We're talking about competition being there. We're talking about if the next guy is up, should be ready. So what is the ... on that? And then, of course, the $255 million on a regressing QB. We heard that so much. Again, the Lori considering Bill Belichick. I'm not mad at that. So I'm not mad at that at all. And then he said Howie's on the clock. On what clock? What clock is Howie Roseman on? What clock is Howie Roseman on? I mean, I don't see no hot seat or anything for Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman is doing his job. He's getting the best coaches around the head coach, or the coordinators, I should say, around the head coach. He's getting the best players around his quote-unquote regressing quarterback, which I think that's just blown out of proportion. But Marcus Hayes, seriously? I think the one that got me the most is the Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. All Jalen Hurts got to do is go out there and prove it. But the Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter thing just threw me off. Howie Roseman being on the clock just threw me off. So let's look at what Howie Roseman did since he been in Philadelphia. Look at his resume the last 7 seasons. 69-45, 3 NFC East championships, 2 NFC conference championships, a Super Bowl, 6 playoff wins, drafted 4 Pro Bowlers plus Devontae Smith, Malata, Goddard, traded for a top 3 receiver in his prime, which is A.J. Brown. What clock? What clock is Howie Roseman on? He's not on no clock. He's really not. Trust me, this the same guy that's putting out headlines and stuff about A.J. Brown. Then the guy that got access to go in the locker room and talk to A.J. Brown face to face did not show up. Come on, man. You can't write the articles and hide your hands, bro. But this is why people don't go to the Philadelphia Inquirers and things like that, because you see stuff like this. You see stuff like this. You know, a lot of people come at YouTubers and stuff like that, or content creators, be like, oh, they be clickbaiting this and that. These are established guys, and what are they doing? What are they doing? They supposed to be the professionals and know what they doing. But since I've been in this and I'm really starting to pay attention to the writers and the beat reporters and stuff like that, I'm telling you, I think Marcus Hayes is the biggest weirdo. I'm going to keep it a beam. I'm going to keep it a buck. I think he's a weirdo because stuff like this that come out makes absolutely no sense. And I'm not mad at people that's critical about the Eagles. But when you putting out clickbait stuff and you've been in this thing for years, it's kind of corny. It's whack. It's not cool, man. It ain't cool, bro. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? All right. Howie Roseman being on the clock. Do you actually agree with that? Is Howie Roseman actually on the clock? I don't agree with that. Again, thank you, Marcus Hayes, for giving me, I guess, some easy content to debunk. Also, Jalen Hurts not being top 5. I mean, CJ Stroud, according to last year, I gotta agree with him. But this is Eagle Al. I'm up.